What's up, guys? Looking to create a new account with William Hill? For the first $50 you deposit, you receive a $150 bonus bet or have your initial deposit matched. Inbox me for details.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm here for the second time. It got deleted last time, but my man, Junior Paulo, what is going on, brother?
No, same old stuff, different day. Just trying to get back into the groove. Obviously, first game back for the year, so yeah, pretty much just trying to find my feet again.
And fresh start against the Sharkies, against the man that you had a fight with, a boxing fight. What was that like? It's your first ever boxing fight, and it's the headliner of a nationally watched boxing fight. I mean, the pressure, the nerves. What was it like for you? Because you've never fought before. You just said, yep, I'll do it. So what was it like for you?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to lie. If anyone who steps into a ring says they're not scared, then obviously they're lying to you.
Yep. Or they're crazy.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But that's how I felt. I didn't know how to feel. You know, wake up on the day, felt good, felt ready, and then get to the venue, and then you're sitting in the change room, you can hear the crowd, and sort of psyched me out a bit.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, it was all just mixed emotions all running through the head.
Yep.
Obviously the atmosphere too, and just the adrenaline, getting ready to go out there and for your first fight. So yeah, it was something that I was definitely looking forward to, and I'm fortunate to say now that I actually got into a ring and experienced it.
Yeah, and I mean, your first fight against a guy like Paul Gallen, who's had 6 fights, won them all. I mean, to be able to say you did that, a lot of guys would have been like, nah, I haven't had any experience. I mean, did you, after it was all said and done, did you enjoy the experience? Feel like that was cool, that was fun?
Yeah, it's not every day you get to say you've been in the ring. Obviously, when the opportunity came up to fight, I didn't know who I was going to fight. So,
oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
It was more so I just wanted to get into the ring and experience it for myself. Coming up against Gallen, obviously he's one of the toughest in the game, and everyone understands that. So why not have a crack against him?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Might as well test myself.
Yep. And what's something? So walk us through. You're walking out. What are you feeling? What's going through your head? Take us back into that moment. Because, I personally, man, I would love to do it. I don't know if I got the guts to do it. It's such a big thing. But what was it like for you? Were you nervous? What was the feelings? You're walking out. Your music's on. What were you thinking?
Heard my music and went lightheaded.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, the legs started to give way while I was walking out. I know, it was, like I said, bro, just the atmosphere, adrenaline that's pumping through your veins, everything just, you sort of just try and keep calm as much as you can. But when I remember walking out, seeing a couple of the boys, looking at my family first, and then stepped into the ring and then took a deep breath, and then that's when I realised, this is it. Finally, you're gonna have to get in the ring and protect yourself, I guess, and but also let the hands go. And to this day, I always said that I'd love to do it and got the chance to. And if they ever ask me again to do it, I would definitely put my hand up.
Yeah. Okay. So after all said and done, you got the taste of it and you enjoyed it, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's how it was. Now that it's done, you kind of want more. Yeah. It was a good first experience for me going up against one of the best in the game and also the toughest. So it was definitely a challenge for me. But at the end of the day, I finally got to experience it, and it's one of those things you can't take back, knowing that you gave it everything, and that's what it was in the ring.
And also the experience of you were on national TV for boxing. How cool is that to be able to say you did that? Not many people can say they did that.
Yeah, I can definitely put that next to my name now.
Yeah. Tell the grandkids.
Well, that's a good story, I guess. Probably wasn't a good one that I lost, but oh well.
Oh man, I mean, if you won, it would have been crazy for you to win your first fight against a guy that's fought 6 times.
Yeah, well, it was first fight for me, but first fight being a professional bout is something special. I didn't get to jump into an amateur ring and get a taste of it before getting on the big stage. And like you said, to headline one of the biggest shows for the charity event was something special, and to go up against Gallen, like I said, toughest out there, and I guess I just had to match it with him on the night, and I reckon I went all right.
Yeah, no, you 100% you went good, bro. What was it? What's something that you remember from the fight? Were you like when you kind of clicked in that you were in there, or when you were throwing punches, or was there anything that you remember from it at all?
Yeah, Gallen, the first punch. hit me flush too. So
And we're like, oh shit.
yeah, I had nothing else to do. I was like, oh, okay, I better start swinging. Yeah, I remember that too. The bell went and I started dancing around for a bit, and then he threw the first jab and got me flush. And that's when I know I was like, oh, can't run anywhere. Got no teammates out there to help me.
Yeah.
So, that was one of the good things. Attacking a punch, copying it on the chin, and then obviously to go throughout the whole fight, I was just trying not to get knocked out in front of everyone that was watching on TV, let alone the people who were there.
Yeah.
So, it was a good experience.
And what's it been like for you? Last year you boys had this amazing run. Yous at the start of the year, everyone was like, Canberra Raiders have this really good young side, but we're not sure what they're going to be like. And then towards the end of the year, you were a part of the squad. All you boys together. You had that really good run. What was it like to be around the club at that time?
It was an awesome time to be a part of the club. Especially for me, it was sort of the highest level of footy that I've played so far, being in the final series.
Yeah.
The way that our team just clicked towards the back end of the year, going into the last 6 rounds, Stick obviously told us that our timing was needed to be right, and he said we'll play our best footy in rounds 22, 23, and I think that's when we sort of clicked and realised that we were believing in him and he was believing in us, and it was one of those situations where if you weren't buying in, then you were missing out, and you saw that in the team. So with everyone that was playing, you definitely saw that everyone wanted to be a part of the team, and we fell one short of the big stage, but it's something that we're building into this year as well, and that's the way we sort of kicked off from where we left off, and obviously there's still room for improvement, but that back end of the year, to be a part of that squad that was there, everyone knew their role, and that's the way we look at it this year going into the new season. We've still pretty much got the same roster, and everyone's just excited to get going again.
And what was it like being a part of, seeing your fans get together and that Viking Clap? Like, it was just like just a sick thing to watch as a fan, like seeing thousands of people. It was just like, to be on the field or experiencing it. What was that? What's the feeling like to be a part of that?
Yeah, definitely a good pump up.
Yeah,
I love it. I love turning up to a packed home crowd, and I can't wait to run out this week. But the first time we all heard it, everyone's getting goosebumps.
Yeah,
we're standing in the tunnel there, and you can see a packed stadium, 25,000 people doing the Viking Clap, and we're all just looking at each other and just ready to run out.
Yeah, ready to go. Yeah,
it's one of those things that really gets you going.
Yep.
Like, some people are quiet in the sheds and will ease into it, but once that Viking Clap gets going, everyone knows it's time.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's so sick. I love just watching that whole experience, and I can only imagine what it would feel like to be in the cauldron of that. You know what I mean? Like, it's around you happening, kind of thing. Yeah, it's sick, man. So how are you feeling for this year? You've got the Sharks this week. How was your preseason? Are you the fittest you've ever been? Are you the strongest you've ever been? How are you sitting physically at the moment?
Yeah, I definitely feel a lot fitter. I'm strongest I've probably ever been.
Yeah.
Punching out the shifting tin in the gym in preseason, but obviously got a head start from the boxing training for me, and that was something that I was looking to take into the preseason, and that's how I felt coming into it. I felt good. So coming into this year, I just want to get out there on the field, and I'm lucky enough to be back this week. So I was unfortunate to miss out last week, but that's something I had to cop on the chin. But now I've got to look forward to giving something back to the boys. And
gym wise, what are you benching? What are you squatting? What's your best thing? Come on, bro, give us the info, bro. A little skinny fella like me, I need to know this stuff.
I'm bench pressing heavy and squatting heavier.
Come on, bro. Give me your PB. All right, I won't push it. It's a private thing, the PBs. It's a private thing. You don't want it out there. So have you hit PBs this year?
Yeah, for me, yeah.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah, going into it past couple of seasons, last year I felt good when I was at the Eels as well.
Yep.
But then obviously coming into last year's preseason now with the Raiders, my first one, all the boys, especially with a big pack like ours, everyone's looking to push each other.
Yeah.
We got Dave Taylor there, Shannon Boyd, and
wow,
it's not small humans we're talking about.
Especially Dave Taylor. How big is he?
Yeah,
he's shredded.
He is actually for his size. He's just a big human being.
Yeah.
And we've got Dynamis there who throws the. He's someone who really knows how to throw the tin around.
Oh,
in the
really?
gym. Yeah.
It's big lifter.
Yeah. Throwing around about 160 on bench press, I think.
Shit, man, that's crazy. And he's only like 110, 100.
Yeah, so
he's not like
he's
130.
pulling his weight around. Yeah, he's killing it.
Okay, so what's it been like? Because you came mid-year last year to the Raiders.
Yeah.
So now you've got a full preseason with the boys. What's something that you've noticed around Canberra? Are you enjoying it more that you're here and with the boys and you had a full preseason?
Yeah, I think it's just more so the chemistry between the boys. You know, tight-knit group, especially after the way we finished the year. But then to have that full preseason under the belt with everyone and enjoy each other's company, you're turning up to pretty much your job every day and seeing the same group of boys. It's something that really builds towards having that brotherhood within the team, and that's something that's definitely going to help us on the field. And we saw glimpses of that last week against the Cowboys.
Yep.
Played 90 minutes of footy and
very unlucky to lose.
Yeah, it was.
The penalty count 11-3.
Yeah,
to be that close to the Cowboys, fuck, it's pretty good.
So it's definitely building character as well around the club, and that's what we're looking to build in towards our culture too.
Yep. And okay, so you were born in Auckland?
Yeah.
And you're Samoan heritage?
Yep.
And when did you come over from Auckland to Australia?
I came over in 99.
99.
Yeah,
so you
99.
would have been, you would have been like 5, 6,
Yeah,
7?
yeah.
That age? What was that like for you? And what was the reason for why you came to Australia?
I guess for most Pacific Islanders, your parents want, they want the best for you, and they obviously saw that Australia was a better future for them to leave behind their parents as well and their siblings. So, we come over to Oz, and that's how it sort of pretty much just fell into place. It was more so to get a better future, and here I am sitting in the seat today, so looking back on everything that I've done, and I'm just happy to be a part of living my dream, I guess, playing footy.
100%.
Yeah.
And I guess if you stay in New Zealand, don't get me wrong, there's still opportunity there, but there's not as much opportunity.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you come here, even for them too, opportunities for work, to build towards something more than for their family. And that's everything that I've sort of done goes back to my parents for moving over here in the first place.
And what was it like moving over here initially? Where did you move, and what was it like for as a young, Kiwi kid moving here?
Yeah, we've moved into Liverpool in southwest of Sydney, and pretty much never moved out of there.
Okay, you're still there? Yep.
Yeah.
Do you love that area? Because you've grown up there and it's like a party. Do you stay there intentionally because you've got your family there and everything like that?
Yeah, that's how it is. The first time we came there, sort of met. Call it home for me, I guess.
Yeah.
Being from the area. A lot of people will say, "Where do you live?" And I'd say, "Look, Ashcroft, Miller, Sadleir, those little suburbs in there, and no one will know where it is."
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where you're proud of where you come from, and that's how it is.
And okay, so you moved over, and were you playing rugby league from a young kid, or did you slowly get into rugby? Like, were you a rugby union player in New Zealand, and then what did you play growing up?
Rugby league was the start for me. When we moved over here, my old man enrolled me. We went to registration there at Cabramatta.
Yep.
It would have been 2000, and then I sort of didn't actually choose. He pretty much put the ball in me. Hey.
Oh, I just said, do it.
And I'm signing you up for footy. And I go, well, yeah, why not? So wasn't the best player coming up, but it was something that I always enjoyed doing. Pretty much all that I knew how to do.
Yep.
So it was one of those situations where, growing up as a kid, everyone from the same area as me was doing the same thing, and you wanted to play footy with your mates, and that's how it was.
And so your dad just said, "Do this." Were you always a big guy, always bigger than the other kids?
Yeah.
So you're that scary guy that the other guys were like, "Oh, I don't want to tackle him. I don't want to tackle him." When you were younger, what was it like being a bigger guy? Kind of like, when you walked up to your first footy game, was there any times where you realised that you were bigger than other blokes?
Yeah, would have been my first training session. I rocked up. I just remember looking around, and everyone else was half my size in the team. So that's when I sort of thought to myself if it was the right age group, and I went home and asked my mum, and she just told me that I was a bit bigger than everyone else, and that's how it sort of all came apart. And then,
so you genuinely thought you were at the wrong training session. So you did the whole training session. You genuinely thought you were at the wrong training session.
Yeah, I just because there was other teams training, and I was looking around at maybe probably would have been under 8s, under 9s, and the kids that were in that age group looked my size, and that's how I sort of went and asked my mum after that first training session. And so all throughout my junior footy career, I was sort of the big kid in the team, and wasn't until maybe that age of 15, 16 when everyone starts to catch up and take footy a lot seriously.
And what was it like? Did you ever have to worry about hurting other kids? Were you ever like, I don't want to hurt, they're so small, like I don't want to hurt them? Yeah,
that's how I first started, being a lot bigger than all the other kids. You're running through and throwing people off a lot easier. And I spoke to my old man, who was a bit of a tough man himself, told me that that's the aim of the game. Yep. What you want to do is run through people and score tries. And I then finally realised, and that's what I had to do. And it was fun scoring tries and that, and tackling people when you didn't have the ball. But then you get to a certain age when your skill level has to develop more, and you got to notice that everyone's catching up to you. So you got to sort of step outside the box when it comes to things like that.
And so when you made your debut, what was that like for you? You were in the under-20s for the Parramatta Eels. Ricky Stewart was the coach of the Eels. What was that, whole process? Round 10, 2013, what was it like for you? How did it come about?
Yeah, it would have been the week before my debut. 2 weeks prior to that, I played New South Wales Cup for the theatre club. It was Wentworth Magpies, and that was my first sort of test playing against men. Well, I've played throughout the all 20s and that, and people who are your age, but then step aside and take that next step into the New South Wales Cup. You're going up against men who are a lot older than you, and certainly a lot more physical than I was at the time. But I sort of found my feet in that first game that we had, and it was against the Tigers. I remember Scandalis was playing that game, and when you're growing up, you're watching footy, and you're thinking you could come out against people you used to watch. You used to watch, and especially for her, I remember watching that 2005 grand final when Tigers won, and it was part of that squad. So that was something that was pretty cool when it hits you, knowing that you're playing against men who really know how to play the game. And for me, I was sort of thrown out in the open, and I sort of just had to take that on. And leading up to that, the next week, I got a call from Sticky telling me to join the full-time squad, and going from a 20s kid who was working full-time and then having to turn up to training in the afternoons, it was sort of a call that, you notice that you're that one step closer, and you're almost there, and that's what you play footy for as a kid. Obviously for me, it's my dream, and I'm happy to be living my dream now. But when I got that phone call and asked me to train with them, I wasn't sure that I was part of the team yet, but I sort of had a feeling that I was, and I turned up to our first training session. Sort of probably my most embarrassing moment was
really what happened
that session.
Why? Just because you didn't know anyone?
Oh yeah, it was sort of like that, but we're doing fitter. we're doing 80-metre sprints, and I remember I was running next to Rennie Matua and Benny Roberts. Man, we did that many 80s, and then I needed to go to the toilet.
Oh no!
And it wasn't a number one either. Yeah, that'll probably go down as the most embarrassing moment for me.
So what'd you do? How'd you handle it?
Got through maybe would have been our third set of 80s. And
So this
we
is
were
your
going.
first training
First
session
session.
with first grade.
Yeah, and when we were doing fitness. Man, I probably needed to go in the first 2 sets, and it was our third set, and I just remember I kept telling the boys, I really need to go. And I asked the trainer, Trent Elkin at the time, while we were still running, and just keep running. And I'm there like, oh man, it's my first session, and I'm about to poop myself. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, far out. And well, we got through our last one, and then I sprinted straight off the field. Everyone was like, where's he gone? Fence was about 1.5 mil. I just hurdled straight over it. No hands. I really needed to go. Finally was able to relieve myself and come back, and all the boys were laughing, saying, welcome to first grade. I was like, far out. Hopefully that's not what it's going to be like on game day.
What about, that's an icebreaker for you if I ever seen one.
Yeah,
Far
I
out.
still remember that day too, because I actually told Sticky that story too last week when
Oh,
we were in
really?
Townsville, and he remembers that too. He had a good laugh about it.
Were the boys giving it to you?
Yeah, because I come back and they were already into the next drill.
Yeah.
So they were giving me a lot of stick about it, telling me to check my onions off. Oh, I'm all right, mate.
Check your undies.
Yeah.
So what do you remember from your debut? What was something that stands out for you memory wise?
Oh, just there was 3 other people in that game that I played all my junior footy coming up with, and 3 of them were good mates of mine. That was Vai Totai, Kalepi Tanganai, and Casey Pritchard.
Yeah.
We played all our junior footy together, being at the Parramatta system, and at the end of that game, we all took a photo and we said, "How good's this?" You know,
Yeah.
we looked around the room. There was guys like Randy Matua, Fui Moi Moi. You know, can name a lot of people in that team that you just think, is this really happening?
Yeah.
And that's how it sort of went for us. We all come from the same area, and that's all we wanted to do. That's all we talked about when we were playing. So that was one of the highlights for me.
And so did you continue playing first grade after that you made your debut?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to finish off the year with them. Played the following week against Aiden Caesar, who's a teammate now.
Yeah.
But he played at Titans. We got towed up.
Oh, you touch up?
Yeah.
Caesar touched it up?
Yeah. I told him about it. His hair looked good too back in that game. Now he's not too happy when the camera's on top of him.
Oh, I missed the banter between the boys. Okay, so you finished that year. So what was it like for you that rest of the year? You know, what did you notice the most about being a full-time first grader?
It was still sinking in for me. I remember 2014 was sort of the same thing. I kept turning up to training thinking, I'm still here. I was still starstruck turning up to training.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of 2013, I always look back at the year and how I went, and I sort of set my goals at the start of that year. And I had this piece of paper that I kept in my drawer next to me in my bed, and I remember looking at it, and I ticked off everything that was on there for me. So 2013 was sort of the it year for me, that I knew it was a make or break year for me.
Yeah. No, that's impressive. So 2014, how, you know, what was that like for you? Did you reset your goals, and did you set them a bit higher, and how did you go in 2014?
Yeah, it was sort of the same thing. You know, you want to be a consistent first grader. You don't want to be just part of the team for 1 game, 2 games, and then that was it for me. I started the year pretty good actually. I was part of the squad, and 2014, doesn't feel that long ago.
Yeah, how crazy. It's 2017.
Yeah, but I obviously ticked off the boxes for that year too, being a part of the Eels as well. So I was lucky enough that I was able to play majority of the year.
Yep. And did you were part of the Samoan side that year, or the squad?
Yeah. I was part of the squad. I was 18th man actually. So being a part of that was, sort of your first rep honours in playing first grade, and being an international test, it was something to be part of. So it was a good feeling being around the boys in that camp.
And okay, so fast forward to 2016. That's when you decided to go to the Raiders.
Yep. Yeah.
And what was, obviously, what was the catalyst for that? Why did you decide? Obviously there's obvious reasons, but why did you decide to come to the Raiders?
Yeah, well, me and Sticky sort of had that relationship when he left the Eels. We're still keeping in contact. He kept calling and check up, and that goes a long way for me, for someone who still has that sort of connection where he's still able to catch up with his players. He obviously saw something in me and gave me the shot at the Eels, and sort of same thing happened down at the Raiders. He had a lot of belief in me and knew that I'll fit into the culture down here, and that's what it came about. Things weren't going too smooth at the Eels at the time, and opportunity come up, and here I am.
And so could have you stay if you chose at the Eels, or was it more like an amicable, a mutual, like, I think it's best we both go our separate ways? Like, what, obviously you had that stuff, the off-field drama, what was that all like for you?
Yeah, it was definitely tough at the time. You just want to play footy, and that's all you want to do. And then a lot of things sort of catch up to you away from the footy field, and that's how it sort of went about with me and both clubs. It was sort of a mutual thing. I just needed to get out of Sydney. Yeah. Coming down to Canberra is probably the best thing that's happened to me so far. So, you can't really explain to a lot of people why you had to move, but it was probably the best thing for me, and let alone my family.
And the off-field incident, where it was a pretty big deal, where you were hanging out with certain people, obviously you've admitted and not admitted, but said, look, I understand it may not be the best look or whatever, but what was it like for you? Because you grew up in an area where these kind of people grew up as well. So what was it like for you?
Yep. I've never shied away from anything really in the past. I've put my hand up and copped it on the chin, no matter what the consequences were for any of my actions. But growing up in the area that I come from, there are a lot of influence away from that, and you sort of become the person who you are because of the people you hang around. And everyone understands that it may not be a good look from the outside in, but you're not going to shy away from those people and say, "Oh, I can't hang around you anymore." Yeah. But they also understand that I have a profile now, so that's the way we all look at things now. So it's sort of hard to distance yourself away from them, but they also understand too. So you can't pick and choose. You can't let anyone pick and choose who you're going to hang around and sort of things. But if it's for the right reasons, and I'm down the highway away from them, but you're still able to talk to them.
Okay, so it's all good still. Like they're people you grew up with, but you also understand it is you do have a profile. So it's a hard situation because you understand both sides. There's two sides to the story of like this company that has this image that they want to apparently uphold, but there's also the side of like they're your mates and you grew up with them. So.
When we were all growing up, everyone had a decision to choose what path they wanted to do, and everyone gets that decision to choose what path they want in life. Yeah. And for me and the boys that I hung out with, some of us chose footy and some chose the other. Yeah. So that we're not going to look down on anyone. Yeah. It's more so just being able to, I guess get along still.
I know it's hard. It's hard to kind of explain, especially when you grew up as mates. It's like telling someone that they can't hang out with their mate that they grew up with anymore. You're like, well, I know him differently to what you know him, kind of thing. Yeah. Okay, so you come to the Raiders. What was that like for you? That whole experience. What was it a positive experience? Was it hard at the start? Did you miss Sydney, or was it like you got in here, the boys were really accepting, and everything went smoothly?
I actually got down here the first day of winter and thought, what am I doing here?
First day of winter, bro. My God.
That was pretty funny. Went from mid-20s in Sydney and then got down to Canberra on my first day, and it was -3 degrees.
Oh, my God.
I remember checking on my Snapchat filter. I go, what am I doing
checking
here?
On your Snapchat filter?
Yeah.
That's the world today. We check Snapchat filters to see how hot it is.
Everyone's weatherman on Snapchat, aren't they?
Oh, man. Okay, so you got down. So initially was it a bit tough, and then eventually you grew on your kind of thing?
Yeah, well, I walked pretty much like a sheep in the woods, really. When I first got down here, I haven't played footy with any of the boys in Canberra, and didn't know any of them personally. So, that was pretty tough for me, and especially to leave my family and that in Sydney for the first couple of months. I got down here, but the club itself they opened their arms to me, and I felt welcome, and even the people of Canberra really helped me settle in. And that's something that I really take into consideration, leading maybe for my future down here. Is it's an awesome place, and I'm really love it down here.
And so, who's been the guy that you've got along with the best since you've been in the Raiders side? Who's your kind of, not your crew, because you're all your mates, but who's someone you get along with the best?
Yeah, I don't know, it's kind of hard. 'Cause, people will say that they have a close team, but at the Raiders, we really have a
close team.
A tight knit group, and everyone. I don't know.
Papa?
Yeah.
You and him, Papa?
Yeah, Papa. He's a bit of a crack up. First person I sort of met when I first got down here, and then first person I shared a beer with. Yeah, so
who's the class clown of the team? Who's the funny guy that's always?
Yeah, I'll probably say Papa.
Oh, Papa.
Yeah,
really.
He's a comedian.
Got any funny stories of Papa that you can PG rated funny stories of Papa?
I don't know if any of his stories are PG.
Any pranks? Any pranks that boys play on each other or anything like that?
I don't know if they're pranks, but Pups loves to leave his undies around like everywhere. He won't. I don't know. He's probably someone who does wake up with a new pair of underwear every single day.
So are they new or are they old and dirty and with holes in them?
Some have holes in them, but he won't claim they're his.
Oh, so
he's the only bloke that leaves them around. So.
Oh, the undie thief, or the undie just leave around her.
Yeah.
Dirty holed undies. Who have you learnt the most off in a team? Who's someone in the squad that you really look to and get kind of information from and learn from as a footy player?
I'd say Sia Soliola.
Oh, okay, yeah.
One of the, or if not the most experienced in the team, and definitely a real leader. He definitely brings that experience to the team, but also away from the footy field, he's a real genuine person. He sort of tells you, but he shows you how to be a footballer away from the football field. As well. I'm trying to get across, and that's how for him, he's really sort of taken me under his wing, and it's with the whole off-field incidents leading into Canberra. When I first got down here, he spoke to me about it, and he's pretty much been helping me ever since I've been down here. And not only him, but I guess all the boys. To come to a close group of teammates, they obviously know how to look after each other. So that's one of the best things about being down in Canberra.
And who's a forward that you grew up watching and kind of would love to emulate as a forward now in the NRL?
There's a few. One of them I actually got to play with, Fui Moi Moi.
Oh, really? Yeah. He was so damaging, man.
Yeah. He was my favourite player coming up.
Yep.
I was a big fan, and then I was lucky enough to actually play alongside.
What was it like first time meeting him?
Funny.
What happened?
It was hard to understand him.
You couldn't understand him?
Nah, he's fresh. Proper fresh.
Hasn't he been here for like a few years?
Yeah, well, that's what they say, but seems like he just got off the plane when I first met him.
So he's just fresh as, and you're like, bro, I can't understand what you're saying.
He was one of the best sort of character figures to have around the club at the time when I started. Really took under all the young boys under his wing, and that's sort of the same role that Sia is doing now with the boys here at the Raiders.
And this year, you've got everything behind you now. You're looking forward. You've played some good footy last year. Is it your goal this year to play for New South Wales if you play good enough footy?
Yep, definitely is. I'm not sure there is any other footballer who's eligible to play for New South Wales who doesn't have that.
Doesn't have that dream. Yeah.
So, obviously for me, I was lucky enough to be part of that emerging blue squad at the start of the year. So, if you're getting your name tossed up in the mix, it means you're doing something right, and that's the way I'm going about it. I'm just trying to get back on that field this week and get off to a good start.
And what would it mean to you to put that New South Wales jersey on and run out and face those Queenslanders? What would that mean to you?
Oh, mean everything. You know, everyone wants to play football at the highest sort of level, and you know, for me, I think Origin's that pinnacle of rugby league at the moment. So, you know, I don't think a lot of people really understand that rivalry between New South Wales and Queensland, because it goes pretty deep when you're being a footballer who's eligible to play for New South Wales.
That rivalry means something to you. Like, you genuinely, not that you dislike Queensland, but you genuinely have a deep, passionate want to beat Queensland kind of thing. Yeah,
and that's the way I think everyone goes about it who's part of those squads. So, I just want to be a part of that squad, and you know, I got to be able to play good footy myself. So if I'm playing consistent footy week in, week out with the Raiders, you know, hopefully I'll get a shot.
And favourite movie of all time?
Ooh, favourite movie.
We were talking actually earlier. What was the movie that you had a little bit of a cry to?
I shed a tear.
You shed a tear?
I actually watched Collateral Beauty this morning.
So you were shedding tears before you come here?
Oh, sort of. Big Will Smith fan and love his movies. So, yeah, it was a pretty deep movie. So good ending too. So that's when I actually shed a tear.
Favorite rapper of all time?
Eminem.
Yeah, he's the man. How good is he? And if you could have a billboard anywhere saying anything, what would it be?
Ooh. That's a tough one, actually.
Yeah, it's a weird question, eh? It's a weird question.
Good question, though. I've never thought of that. Hopefully they'll be able to Photoshop a good rig and have some Calvin Klein undies on.
Good rig. All right, we'll come back. Next time you're on the show, you have a good think about it, and we'll... thank you so much for coming on the show, brother. I appreciate it, and good luck this weekend, man. It's going to be interesting watching you, that's for sure.
Cheers. Thanks for having me, man.
What's up, guys? Looking to create a new account with William Hill? For the first $50 you deposit, you receive a $150 bonus bet or have your initial deposit matched. Inbox me for details.